Brief update on BTC. We're going to start by taking a look at some of the higher time frame levels of support and resistance that I'm going to be eyeing, and then we'll also look at a local setup that I had shared on Twitter and in the Discord earlier today. So a couple really important things to take note of. One, we've had this down trend line here that price actually got a daily close above, and we can see that we're getting some kind of a daily and local back test of that level here. Now, again, being that it's over the weekend and price hasn't yet had time to sort of, let's say, round out before backtesting that level, I wouldn't be surprised if this zone was visited again later on. And maybe that's something that we see here that I'll actually talk a little bit about playing into this setup. So if we go ahead and just take note of this swing failure pattern here. What I like about this level is that just above we have a weekly naked point of control. Now, because we can expect a handful of stops to be above this level, what would be really clean is to see a sweep of that, finding resistance at this weekly naked point of control, as well as this high time frame trend line, right, as sort of a back test of that level, and then some kind of a rejection to the downside here, a closure below the swing failure pattern level for a rejection back into this sort of 67K zone here to, let's say, retest this downwards trend line that we have now seeing some kind of a breakout of. Typically, you don't want to see that back test to be happening on the exact candle right afterwards. You'd want to see price kind of come up, round out a little bit, get that back test, which this would all really set up for, and then then significant move to the upside to have some degree of continuation. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, but I do think it's worth noting that this is something of a setup that we could see happening. I can see how all of these things would be playing out to give us that sort of move up, rejection, back test of this high time frame trend line that we have now begun to break out of. In addition, this is the previous month high here. I don't really see any reason why price should spend significant time below this level, if at all. If we did get a move down into this zone, I think that this would be a zone to bid for then a move to the upside. I don't expect that price should go much lower than this at all. In fact, I don't think that this fair value gap should get filled. I don't think that we should back test this level here. I think that this zone would sort of be like the line in the sand for me for some degree of immediate continuation to the downside, where if we did get a more significant pullback, I would either want to see it bought up very, very, very quickly, or otherwise, if we did get more of a significant pullback, I would probably start to change my mind and expectations, especially timing wise, on when I would expect, price to have more of a significant breakout to the upside. Because like I said, I still am expecting all-time highs this month. So in order to see something like that happen, we do want to see bullish continuation more immediately than seeing price sort of consolidate, get more significant moves to the downside where it puts off, sort of that bullish continuation, right? So let's go ahead down to H1 here. I want to take a look at a local setup that I'm taking for the weekend. What I want to see is move down to this TPO point of control, which is also this H1OB here, filling this very small fair value gap on H1. It also bodes well, being that this is the weekend. We had the CME close roughly at about 68,400. Usually over the weekend, we'll see just shy of a 1% move to the downside for then a reversion back to the CME close level. So again, we could at the very least expect price to get a move back into that 68,400 level from this zone here, and even potentially a move up to this 69 level, which is again just slightly shy of 1% from the CME close. So again, like over the weekend, what I would be looking for is, price to come into here, create that range, maybe get back into here for then the weekend to close and the new weekly open to come about, right? Just basically back at the CME close level, so then that way there's no gap, and then from there we can go ahead and look to take whatever trade that we want to see how the week's going to set up along the way. So for me, this is more or less a weekend trade where, even if we get a move into this zone here, that would be really great because this setup is about 5.74 R. So even a move like back into this zone here around like 68,600, I would be really happy with that. If we did get that fill and that move into this zone, I may even look to just close there. That would still be, a 4R trade or something like that. It would still be a phenomenal setup here, and I'd be very happy with. So that's what my plan is locally. At the very least, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to look for the weekly open, see where that's at. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a very strong and great weekly open that bodes well for bulls. I will look for a weekly open drive setup tomorrow that I'll be sure to share with you guys. And then we'll go ahead and do another update on Monday as per usual to set up what we're going to be looking for in this week to come. Again, as I've been saying for quite some time, I am still bullish going into the end of the month, so that will play into my bias and our video on Monday.